Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason live on this Thursday, the 30th day of March. The madness is almost over. And I got to tell you what, it's been a crazy time. Everybody really nervous about what's going to happen to the dollar, the Fed's credibility. The news today, a first of its kind trade in Chinese renminbi, and you won't believe who it was with. I'll give you all the details on that. Jobless claims were out. We'll talk about that. Revision to fourth quarter GDP, we may mention that. But when it comes to hard assets, it is pouring in right now. People are doing everything they can to prepare for what it's inevitable, what is going to be coming here. 800-951-0592. That's our toll-free number. Get that gold and silver put away. I don't know how many times I got to tell you. You are going to need some. allamericangold.com is the website. We are on the phone, so, we have a routine. Every morning, when the girls come in, the first thing they do, I obviously, put their lunch away, whatever, get situated. But the first call they make are to the wholesalers, to the bullion banks. Today, those calls, as every day, get made, and we are talking to one of the largest bullion banks in the world. They're in California, of all places. And Jeff, the guy that runs the bullion bank there, I've known him, like I said, for over 20 years, said, I'm like, hey, you got anything? Nope. No gold. I'm like, well, how about 10th ounce gold eagles? Nope. Any junk silver? Silver eagles, right? He just laughs. And he says, he said to Connie, he goes, I did not write one single purchase order yesterday, which means nobody sold him anything ever. This guy's been doing it for like 40 or 50 years he's been there. And he goes, I don't remember, Jason, that ever happening before where not one person, this guy's huge. The guy's humongous, right? You're telling me not one dealer like in the entire country needed to sell any product back to him? It blows your mind.
It's a very clear indication of how bad it's going to be trying to buy gold and silver in the near and the far future, because the ability to get it, you can always get it, but what price are you going to have to pay? And the delinking of the spot price versus the physical price is happening even more now, Joe. It just seems like we're going to continue down this path where they don't want to see $2,000 spot price because suddenly everyone buys like crazy, right? So they're just doing everything they can to keep it below 2,000 because, man, can you imagine what's going to happen when more buying pressures happen to this market where nobody is coughing it up, right? So other people can buy it.
Yeah, and you said something, because I was telling Jason when Jason called me this morning, and I was telling him, man, you're not going to believe what Jeff just said, and he goes, I think we should stop referring to when we talk, we talk a lot about the premium. He goes, I think we should just stop saying that. He goes, we should just say the real price of gold and silver today is X, and just forget about the paper. Right now, listen, gold and silver are up again today, right? They're up again today. But the problem is, Jason, the premiums keep going up more than the gold and the silver go up.
That's correct. That's correct. I'm telling you, you called the number 800-951-0592. Get yourself right. Start buying these $10 liberties, which have been on sale.
Listen,
Joe's going to talk about
right.
that. The price is going to be exactly the same because of the pressures. But man, you guys just got to jump on this thing now. It's one of these days the paper price will just start to unleash where the physical price is, like it always does. And then you'll be sitting around looking at $20 liberties for what, $3,000, $4,000, and so on. And it can happen really quickly. It doesn't take very long, Joe, for it to move several $100s northward.
Yeah, gold right now, 1975. It is up $8. Silver's up 38 cents. $10 liberties. We've been telling you this is just the best deal. I don't know why. I don't know how long it'll last. They're $11.90 today. So get more expensive here. So, but still, two $10 libs, way cheaper than a 20 today. $10 liberties at $11.90. And also, Jason wants me to remind people, we buy. Listen, premiums are up. You're going to get well over spot on your 20s and your 10s and your $5 liberties and saints and whatnot. So if you want to buy, if you want to sell, call us too. We do that as well. 800-951-0592. But when we get back, Jason, we'll talk about what happened in the jobless claims market. We're going to talk about the confidence in Jay Powell waning by the day. And then, of course, the biggest news of the day, the first of its kind transaction in renminbis. I'll tell you what it was, and I'll tell you which country did it when we get back. Eight hundred 951 Joe and Jason, Patriot Radio News Hour. The Dow is up 80. The S&P's up 22. The NASDAQ is up 123. Gold is up 8. Silver's up 35 cents. Crude oil, I hate to say it, crude oil's up, as well as, we had that crazy crude oil supply. Crude up $1.20. The bond market down, yields down here, 356. This market update brought to you by our friends at YRefi. We talk about these guys all the time. This is not correlated to Wall Street. It doesn't matter what the Dow does, doesn't matter about interest rates. It's a fixed rate of return up to 10.25%. You got to have 50,000, as we've talked about. You can use an existing IRA, right? Check them out. InvestYRefi.com. It's also the greater good. This is the distressed student home loan market. The people that defaulted on their student loans and have been written off by the banks and written off by society. Listen, not all of them needed to be written off. A lot of them just needed the chance, and that's what YRefi does. InvestYRefi.com. That's the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com, or 888 YRefi24. But Jason, I was shocked by this next one here. We've been talking about how important energy is to the dollar, right? The whole energy field. We're talking oil, natural gas, coal, right? The energy sector is the biggest commodity sector in the world. And we've been talking about how China and Saudi Arabia, China and UAE, China and Qatar, right? They've been working on, hey, we're getting ready. We're going to start trading oil. And in the case of Qatar, natural gas in renminbi. Well, they got beat to the punch today. In the first of its kind, China just completed the first trade of liquefied natural gas settled in renminbis. Shanghai Petroleum on the natural gas exchange on Tuesday. So this was 2 days ago. We just found out. I just saw it today. By the way, I want to give credit to where I saw it, which was Zero Hedge. but other people now have it. I even think CNBC's picked it up. The Chinese State Oil and Gas Company said they completed the deal with France. How about that? One of our good friends, the French, have said the trade involved. There's just a little bit, Jason. Don't worry. 65,000 tons of liquefied natural gas. Now, here's what is interesting about it. This gas was imported from the UAE. So France was the third party, if you will. The gas was UAE gas, but the French company, which was, I want to say, was it Total? Let me see here. Yeah, so Total was the French company. So my guess is the French company probably runs the port there for UAE. But Jason, this is a big deal. This is a huge deal where all of a sudden now we've been warning about this. I've been warning now for at least the last 6 months, maybe the last year now. This was going to start happening. Jason, the first one's the hardest one. Right now, say, well, what do millionaires say? What the first million was the hardest one to get. The first trade settled in renminbi, that probably was the hardest one. A lot more to follow.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think that's a pattern that's going to become more relevant in the future. You know, it's a world of currencies, right, Joe? And right now the dollar is a currency that's no longer as important as it used to be. It's still the world reserve currency, but the world is being divided into pieces, and the dollar is not going to be as important. And if it's true that there is a battle for what currency is going to rise to the top next, so to speak, then yeah, everything we've been reporting over the last year or 2 years plus, it's moving towards this China, Russia, BRICS nation sort of currency. So if that's what it's going to be, Joe, if it's what it's going to be, and the power, here's the Central Bank of China and the Federal Reserve, they all know what they're doing. It's not like they're doing this again. I'm convinced these guys work in unison. It's a cartel. The mafia doesn't shoot their own, right? So if it's going to move towards China and Russia, it's going to move towards China and Russia. That's all there is to it.
Listen, this is, and I don't want to over exaggerate here, but this is huge. This is a big deal. Because again, I can't emphasize this enough. The amount of dollars in the energy commodity sector, it dwarfs everything else. Just dwarfs it. It's so much bigger, right? It's so much bigger than gold. It's so much bigger than corn or wheat or soybeans. It's massive. China on a follow-up with this. By the way, Total just said, yes, we completed the transaction. And yes, it was liquefied natural gas from UAE. They had no further comment. But China said they will continue to import large quantities of crude oil and liquefied natural gas from Gulf countries. And they are going to expand the imports of both. So China's basically saying, hey, listen, we already do listen, they're the largest buyer. Okay, when we talk about the largest buyer of stuff, China's number one. They buy more oil than we do. They buy more liquefied natural gas than we do. They buy more cement, more copper, more gold, right? The list go on and on and on. They buy the most. And now they're saying that as they strengthen cooperation upstream in the oil and natural gas development, engineering services, storage, transportation, refineries, we intend to make full use of the Shanghai Petroleum and Natural Gas Export Exchange. In other words, what China is saying, this is our exchange platform where we are going to be buying and selling all of this stuff in renminbis. And Jason, this is going to be, it's not coincidence. The timing of this is not coincidence, right? When you talk about, we talked about the timing of Bitcoin, how it magically appeared right after the financial crisis. It's not coincidence. When we talk about everybody coming out now and talking about the Fed is trapped, right? Everybody and their brother saying, listen, the Fed's got one of two choices. They can fight inflation or they can save the financial system. They can't do both. This is not coincidence. This ties into everything. And again, when this digital currency comes here, we're going to see, listen, we're going to take a step back. It's not going to be, listen, I don't want to overexaggerate. We're not going to go from 60, 70% of the world's trade in dollars to 20%. But we're going to take a haircut, and it's going to hurt, and it's going to hurt a lot. And by haircut, what does that mean? Standard of living here goes down, Jason. That's exactly what it means.
Well, and it could be a much bigger chunk than even you're thinking, Joe, because, you were saying earlier, the commodities market, the oil market is so much bigger. Well, the one thing you didn't compare it to, Joe, is it's a lot bigger than Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank going down.
Oh, God.
And look what happened when those two little banks went down. Just imagine when they stopped paying dollars for oil, Joe.
Yeah, it's going to have a huge, huge effect. I think that's probably the main reason why gold is up today, because again, Wall Street's on the, okay, no bank's going to fail this week. So they're feeling pretty good about it. But Jason, the nails in the coffin, this is just another one. This is coinciding with the end of the Federal Reserve note. It's coinciding with the end of it's coinciding with the end of fiat money. That's really the best way to say it, because this is going to be a global thing. Cash is going away everywhere. And this is just another big example of why it is coming, because quite honestly, this is going to disrupt the whole apple cart. And it's why, think about whether it was Andrew Dow, Jeff Gundlach, Jeremy Siegel, right? Mohammed El-Arian, right? They're all out saying the same thing. We don't know where the next crisis is going to be. We know that the small, local, and regional banks in America are in trouble. We're really worried about commercial real estate because a fifth of the market comes due in the next year. But then you remember, though, they start talking about foreign banks as well. And the fact of the matter is now you have countries that are flat out saying, you know what, we don't want any more dollars, because that's what UAE said today. UAE said today, you know what, we've got enough dollars. We'll take more renminbis. And Jason, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, I agree, Joe. I agree, and we'll see the consequences to our economy happening day after day, week after week, month after month, especially this next year. This next year, wacky things from this day forward, and I would say into 2025. But any day, the bottom of the market, so to speak, could fall out. We could have a huge drop in the market. It could be over a 1 week period or over a 1 month period, but it's going to happen. And it's going to be very, very difficult to get gold at a reasonable price at that point. You're still going to be able to buy it, but why would you wait, right, Joe? Why would you wait? Let's say till August. Let's just say the whole thing falls apart in August. Why would you wait? Why would you wait? Why would you say, well, I need to save a little bit more, and then when I get that number where I like it, then I'm gonna buy from Patriot in August. It's just not a good move when things are moving as fast as they are right now, Joe.
Yeah, and again, we've been saying it pretty much all year. If you want to pay more, just wait. This isn't, and again, this isn't a we're trying. Oh, right. Oh, you're just saying that because you guys sell gold. I don't just say that, and Jason doesn't just say that. We're saying that because what we're telling you is here's what we're seeing. When one of the largest bullion banks in the whole freaking world says, I didn't write a single purchase order, I didn't buy a single ounce of anything, that's never happened. You've heard us, we've been talking about premiums pretty much most of the year now. And again, every single day just happened in the last 5 minutes. I don't know if you're on YouTube and you saw me while Jason was talking, I was shaking my head. It's because I just clicked on another email about silver premiums. They just went up again. And this is how quickly things move. And again, I think when the next, here's what I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen. When the next tremor happens, and notice how I call it, I refer to the last couple of weeks, that was a tremor. That was a warning. Better watch out. Now that one only cost $400 billion, right? And whatever Europe did, right? So let's say between America and Europe, that almost cost about $1 trillion, right? Between the EU and the US, right? That was a tremor. When the next tremor comes, I think we'll be in a situation where we're gonna be forced to tell people, hey, I want to buy U.S. Silver Eagles. Sorry, no one will let me book any. Or I want to buy Silver Eagles. Okay, I can deliver it next month. I want to buy $20 gold pieces. Okay, you can. But by the way, the only thing I've got are AUs and graded, right? That's what it's gonna be. 800-951-0592, $10 liberties, the deal of the week, $11.90.